Pinocchio, Pinocchio, holy smoky-o, Pinocchio, Pinocchio, my dear son made of wood. What is spitting, everybody in the Ring Army? My name is Nice and welcome back to another movie review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Pinocchio, the 2022 remake, and honestly, this has been a blast. I remember this movie got announced like 2 years ago, I believe in 2020, and I was really excited for it. I grew up loving Pinocchio. Pinocchio is my favorite Disney character of all time. I grew up with this movie, his many songs. I especially love the soundtrack that they used for the original 1940 movie, and seeing that this movie was getting made, it raised a few questions for everybody, and it's like everybody hates Disney remakes because first of all, of how unoriginal it is. They just want money and nothing original comes to them anymore. But this one I was surprisingly excited for. Getting to see this real life puppet come to life, and I don't know, it's just like a very dear thing to my heart because I love Pinocchio. I grew up with him, like I said, and I remember I used to be so obsessed with him. My parents got me a real life Pinocchio puppet that I still have right now. Here he is. Look at him. I have a real life Pinocchio. I still remember the day my parents got me this. I was like 9 or 8. I remember they got me this for Christmas one day. Now back to what I was saying. When this movie was announced, I was kind of worried. It raised some questions for me. I knew this wasn't going to be very good because Disney remakes aren't really good. Everyone knows that. The Lion King, Aladdin. I think The Jungle Book was good, but I haven't watched it yet. Someone remind me to watch it one day. But most of them aren't very good. Even though I did personally like Aladdin and The Lion King, it's just kind of a bother how unoriginal it is, and they changed some stuff from the remakes too, so it's not like 100% like the original. There's always going to be something different about the remakes that people didn't really ask for, but they are in there just to, how you say, make it original, I guess. And this movie, they did some stuff like that, and it kind of left me disappointed. Unfortunately, I do have more dislikes than likes from this movie, which kind of makes me sad because Pinocchio, like I said, is my favorite Disney character of all time, and seeing them kind of butcher him like this in a way and make him kind of different, it's just, I don't know, kind of hurts your soul if you're a really big fan of the original. This movie has some stuff that I really didn't like about it, and I'm first going to be talking about the things I did like about this movie. There are going to be some spoilers, so if you haven't watched the movie yet, go watch it for yourself and then come back. Now with all that out of the way, let's speed into the review. Alrighty then, so let me begin on the things that I did like about this film. First, the visuals. The visuals were really good. Some things can be made better, but it's just very alright for a Disney Plus movie instead of a theatrical release. I loved how they kept the original design for Pinocchio in this. They didn't change anything. They just made it more realistic with the wood. You can see, when you see his face up close, you can see the wood carvings in his face. In a way, kind of makes him look older in a way, because there's like some smudges here that makes him look like an old man, but they just try to make him look realistic with the wood, which I didn't really mind at all, but I'm just glad that they kept them the same way as the original. Number 2, the character designs. Geppetto looks the same. Stromboli looks the same. Honest John and the cat looks the same. Like, that's just one of the things I really did like about this movie. They kept the designs the same as the original. Same with Jiminy Cricket, except for the Blue Fairy. The Blue Fairy, they did change her clothes and her wings. They added wings to her. I don't think she had wings in the original, but if she did, they were kind of different. This one was more realistic in a way, has like different patterns in the wings. Next is the story and plot. It's just what you think it is. It's the original plot, but of course they just changed some things here and there to make it more, just to stretch out the movie instead of making it like 1 hour and 14 minutes like the original, because the original is really short from what I remember. Third is the music. There are some songs in here that were needed, but there are some new ones, and one of the new ones is the beginning that Tom Hanks was singing to Pinocchio when he came to life. Pinocchio, Pinocchio, holy smoky-o, Pinocchio, Pinocchio. That's one of the songs I did like about this movie that they actually made up for this one specifically. There are tons more new songs in this movie that weren't in the original, but it did come with a price, sadly. Number 4, the acting. The acting was pretty good. The voice acting as well. Keegan-Michael Key as Honest John was really good. He nailed the character. Same with Pinocchio's voice actor. He sounds exactly like the original 1941. Tom Hanks did a really good job on acting and voice acting for Geppetto. And tons more actors that did really well with the characters, and they delivered it perfectly and really good. But yeah, it isn't 100% what you think it is with the characters. So that was everything I did like about this film. The characters, the designs, the visuals, the voice acting, and the story a little bit. And now, time to get into the negatives. Number 1 thing I didn't like about this movie is that they cut so many songs out of the original film. That's crazy, right? They cut out so many songs from it and so much content. The first song they removed was Little Wooden Head, the one where Geppetto plays with Pinocchio and he sings a little song with it. that song was cut out and they replaced it with another song that I did like. I didn't mind the change, but it is still kind of sad that they got rid of that song to replace it with this new one. The second song they removed was when Jiminy Cricket was trying to teach Pinocchio about right and wrong, and with the whistle, that song got cut. I was so disappointed. I was like, oh, okay, they're gonna start singing the whistle song, and they didn't.
When you get in trouble and you don't know right from wrong, give a little whistle.
Like, why? Why would you do that? And that scene, they made the Blue Fairy sing instead. They did keep I've Got No Strings, though. That was the plus. The second thing I didn't like about this movie is that it felt so rushed. Like, they cut so much content from the original to fit in more new elements that they wanted to implant in there with the new characters and new dialogue. It was just annoying to watch. Like, some scenes felt too forced, how Pinocchio was just swooped up by a random car with a net to go to Pleasure Island instead of Honest John giving him a playing card to go to Pleasure Island. It was just annoying sometimes to see that. Pinocchio does go to school in this one. In the original, he never made it to school. He went to go become famous with Honest John and Stromboli, but in this one, he does go to school for like a minute or two, and then they kick him out for not being a real boy. They also changed so much of the scenes from the original. Like, they added new dialogue, they revisioned the whole scene to make it something different. I don't know, it's just some things that I didn't like about it. Like when they did that with the scenes, how they tried to do something else with a different character instead of this character. And I don't know, like the new Seagull Sophia, I did like how her name was Sophia, so that was pretty cool. She's a new Seagull character that wasn't in the original, and she's just there conveniently to help out in the end with Monstro. That's another thing I didn't like about this movie. The characters that came from the original didn't have that much impact in this new one. Like, I forgot the guy's name. The guy that was in charge of the whole donkey operation in Pleasure Island. He was so scary and threatening in the original. In this one, he's just there. Just like, oh, come into Pleasure Island with us. Come on. And then in the end, they did get all the donkeys, but it didn't feel scary enough, I guess. He wasn't that much of a villain, to be honest. He was just there until the very last second. He wasn't there since the beginning, like in the original with Honest John. And I don't know, it was just kind of weird just seeing him there. His character design was different. He had long hair in this one. He wasn't like a big, chubby, angry guy. Stromboli is still the same though, but they of course couldn't make him 100% like the original. They also changed the character design for like the guys in the black suits in the original getting all the donkeys. And this one, they're spirits. They are like fog monsters getting all the donkeys and stripping the clothes off and then, dumping them in the boxes like in the original. But this one, they're ghosts instead of men in black suits. I also didn't like how they introduced new characters, like that one chick that wants to be a ballerina with a broken leg, and with their new puppet. I forgot her name, Sabina, I think that's her name. But yeah, for me, she's just there just for the love interest attention, I guess this movie was trying to do. Like, the love interests in movies like this, like Disney movies or remakes, is just unnecessary. I didn't like that love interest that Pinocchio was having. Pinocchio didn't like her, like, love her, but there was like a tension there that the character was trying to do with it. I just didn't like that new character. Like, the actress did great as her, but it just wasn't necessary. I don't know what they were trying to do with that. There was also like some jokes and some bits from the original movie that was cut from this one. Of course, they were trying to make this PG and family friendly for today's children, and that's the kind of the thing I didn't like about this. They cut so much stuff from these remakes, from the originals, that they want to make it differently and not show everything. Like in the 1940 Pinocchio movie, Pinocchio was in Pleasure Island smoking and drinking beer. And this one, they got rid of the smoking and now they're drinking root beer. They changed that. I can see why, but still, it's like, I don't know. It's just taking something from a main character and then changing it to something else more kid friendly for today's children. I don't know. It's just very, very angering for me. And it was just, I don't know, just seeing him drink root beer and not smoking like in the original. I don't know. It probably might be a good thing too that they actually got rid of the smoking bit. But in the same time, it's just kind of difficult for an OG fan to see they changed that for just to fit with today's time. Another thing I didn't like about it is they got rid of the whole ocean underwater scene. In this one, Pinocchio is just soaring through the water with the seagull, with Sophia gliding off of her with a robe with Jiminy on it. Instead of going underwater, under the sea, and looking for Geppetto and looking for Monstro, or trying to stay away from Monstro. But in this one, they're just above the sea, just floating on there. It's just, I don't know, man. I was so disappointed when I saw that. I was like, no underwater scene? That would have been so awesome to see. And what's with Monstro's design? Like, they tried so hard to make him look scarier. In this one, he's a sea monster. In the original, he was a normal whale. Just a giant whale that's just looked like as a monster, but there was no special things making him look like a monster, but he was just a normal whale. And this one, they added tentacles, scary scales in this one, and he's a sea monster. They mentioned him as a sea monster, not a whale. It was just annoying. They tried so hard to do something with Monstro to make him look like an actual monster. What's up? It's Editing Nice here, and I forgot to mention that don't even get me started about Pinocchio fast pedaling them to safety. In the original film, Monstro sneezes them out and then chases them to shore. In this one, Pinocchio just dash Incredibles them to safety. That is some bull to the max, man. Like, no, don't try to do something to a character that I never did in the original. Don't do that. Another thing I didn't really like is the CGI and the effects. The water in the ocean sometimes when Monstro was eating them up and sneezing, was about to sneeze, the water, you can see the water just doing like this. It was just very annoying to watch. Even like the blue screen that Geppetto was on the boat, the blue screen behind Tom Hanks, you can see how fake it was. Kind of like the water wasn't really there, and sometimes the things don't even get wet from the water. Like, all the water went on top of him in one scene, and then in another scene, they were dry. I don't know, it was just unrealistic in a way. They tried so hard to make this movie look so realistic, but the point of these Disney classics is that they were fiction. They were doing everything goofy and like non-realistic. But in this one, they tried so hard to make it look realistic. A puppet came to life in this universe, and you can't make everything else fit with that. This is a fantasy world. Why are you trying to make it seem realistic? That's not the point of these Disney movies. And also, like, these some scenes where the people pick up Pinocchio, you can see the green, you can see the hands moving all jittery, and you can see the puppet and like the model in there. I don't know, once you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's just a really big bother once you pay attention to the movies. It's just this movie has so much disappointing stuff in it. Like, once the scene comes up that you know by heart and the dialogue and everything, you expect him to make the same bit and to say the same lines, but most of the time, they change it up. They changed or even removed the original line from that scene. Also, that donkey scene from Pleasure Island was underwhelming. It wasn't as scary as the original. In the original, you can actually see, I think his name is Slappy or Snappy. I forgot his name, but he turns into a donkey right in front of Pinocchio's face, and everything. It was like a scary thing. And in this one, they do it off screen again, but it was more calm. Like, it wasn't as terrifying as the original. In the original, you can actually see the fear in Pinocchio, and you can actually feel that the tension that scene had. In this one, it was just, I don't know, it was just goofy. Like, the CGI and the effects weren't as really good, and the emotion and the reaction that the character had to it wasn't as good as the original 1941. It was just, I don't know. It's just, this movie is just underwhelming in my opinion. It wasn't as really good as the other remakes. I still like it just because it's Pinocchio, but the rest of it, I didn't like it. It was just, they tried so hard to make it different and try to have some of the little bits in there as the same. It's just, it didn't work. I don't think that much stuff made me laugh, and it was just annoying. The Blue Fairy didn't have that much screen time as well. She just went there, brought Pinocchio to life, and then she's gone. No more. She was just there for like 5 minutes of the movie, and then she's gone. Like, why? Why? Like, I don't know. And in this one, Geppetto makes Pinocchio just because his old son passed away or something. Like, he based off this puppet off of his son. I'm not sure if that was in the original, but it was just weird. Like, so he made this Pinocchio puppet just because his son passed away, or to keep his memory alive. Because in the original, he never mentioned that he has a real life son that passed away, or a wife. And this one, he does mention that he has a son and a wife, or he used to. It was just, I don't know, it's just like these new things to try to make Geppetto and to make these characters seem more different from the original. It just wasn't very justifiable to Pinocchio. There was just so many Pinocchio movies that came out this year, and this one by far beats the other Pinocchio. The one that has funny voice acting, that one, yeah. This one I did like more than that one, but this one does fall behind in comedy wise, because this movie didn't really make me laugh. You just watch it just to watch it, you know? I give this movie a 6.7 out of 10. I would watch again, but just for the visuals and Pinocchio. It doesn't mean that I did like all of this movie. Of course, there's some more negatives than positives. Well, that was my review on this new Pinocchio remake. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch it for yourself and come back and let me know what your thoughts on it was. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Why did you like it? Why did you not like it? I don't know. This movie wasn't really a hit for me. And that's all I have to say about this movie. Disney, please do better next time. Don't try to make something that it's not. Don't change up the movies just to make it with our time. Anyways, if you did enjoy the video, leave a like and subscribe if you're new here. My name is Nice, and I'll speak to you guys on the next run.